Okay, hey, let me show you one play here. Okay, ready? Watch this play. John Madden and Al Michaels. Super Bowl 43. Larry Fitzgerald. He's gone. All right. Hey, that was incredible. Did you see that? Larry Fitzgerald from Kurt Warner, 64 yards and a touchdown. The Steelers did have the lead like a few minutes ago. They were up by 13 points. Now they're behind. Their defense just practiced social distancing all the way down the field, and it doesn't bother me a bit. I'm smiling. I'm happy. I'm waving my towel. This game has gone from bad to worse. There's still some bad calls coming. The referees are going to mess some things up. I'm not upset at all. The coach is going to make a really bad decision. I'm not upset at all. You know why I'm not upset at all? This game was played back in 2009, and here's the key. I know exactly how it ends. It is a whole lot easier to deal with bad news, bad times, when you know how things end. As we think about our world right now, we think about the bad times we're going through and the possibility that things are going from bad to worse. We think about the injustice, bad calls. We think about the bad decisions, politics. And it's pretty easy to get down and a little discouraged about it unless we remember that we know how this ends. Last week I got to do something that never thought I'd love doing. Never pictured myself being a big fan of picking up a little book that tells the story about how an elephant's skin is rough or a squirrel's tail is bushy. I never thought I'd love reading a little book like that to a little kid, but then I became a grandfather. Last week I got to sit my grandson on my lap and I read him those stories, and I just tell you, nothing's better. You know, if you could with me for a minute, could you imagine that God says to you, my child, come up on my lap for a second. Got a little book I want to read. I want to show you what is going to happen in the coming pages. And if you could imagine sitting on the Father's lap and he says to you, hey, let me read to you. Let me get to the end of the book, okay? Let me show you the very end of the book. So he turns you to the last chapter of Revelation 22, and he reads you these verses. Then the angel showed me the river of water. Now this is John talking, but John saw the river of the water of life, bright as crystal, flowing from the throne of God and of the Lamb of God, through the middle of the street of the city. Also on either side of the river there was the tree of life, with 12 kinds of fruit, yielding its fruit each month. And the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. Listen to verse 3. No longer will there be anything accursed. Wait, I need to say that again. No longer will there be anything accursed, but the throne of God and the Lamb will be in it, and his servants will worship him. They will see his face, and his name will be on their foreheads, and the night will be no more. They will need no light, no lamp, no sun, for God will be their light, and they shall reign forever and ever. Maybe it'll be easier to handle today if you remember we already know how this ends.